the 200 sites, some on foot, some in boats. We collected approximately 1,000 big trash bags of trash that they're estimating will likely weigh in tens of thousands of pounds of litter that no longer will be at risk of polluting the Chesapeake, the rivers feeding it, or tributaries. Most common items collected were plastic and glass bottles, aluminum cans, plastic bags, cigarette butts. Larger items like bait buckets and crab traps also. There were some unusual items that were collected. There was somebody found a bag of bullets. There was a rusty machete and numerous mannequin legs. So, you can tell me all that because I have no idea. But we have cleaned up the mannequin legs. That's the good news. So I just want to say on behalf of the Protect the Environment Committee, we want to say a big thanks to our volunteers who all showed up and made a difference. So thank you very much.
Raise your hand if you were there. Who was there? All right. Round of applause for these guys. Thank you very much. Any other announcements? All right.
What did you name?
How about Happy Dollar?
I was happy what I saw this morning on the news. Anybody that's as old as I am will probably remember back in the JFK term that he started an exercise program in the public school system. And every year, all public school students had to go through a ritual of push-ups, sit-ups, chin-ups.
50-yard dash.
Yeah, climbing the rope up to the ceiling of the gym. And a 1 mile run. And they actually logged all that and sent it into some central federal government bureau. I actually really enjoyed doing that as a kid for a number of years, and then it just stopped. But they're renewing it. I saw this morning that they signed federal, President Trump signed a federal order that they're going to start it again. I think that's real good for today's kids. And I hope to see some good results health-wise for the kids.
How happy does that make you feel?
Well, put it at $10.
Good, great. Thank you. Bravo, bravo. Who else would? Cheryl.
I'm $10 happy that my reading to the elementary school was a lot of a fun experience, and it's over, and I'm really happy it's over. I don't know why I was nervous about that, but I was, and it went well, and the kids are darling, and I highly recommend it if you haven't done it yet.
Right. Thank you. And it's much easier the second time. So, who else has got the happy dollars?
$10.
Okay. Sad lunch today? No. Okay. All right. And I think then it is time to clean parts. Has everyone purchased their cards? Could we have a show of the high cards or your high card? What's the?
A jack.
Ooh. We got Jack of Diamonds, but he's got Ace of Hearts. The only one that can beat that is Ace of Spades. Anyone have it? Joan, is it hiding in your pocket? Okay. All right then, congratulations, Pete. We have a winner. And it is time, let's see here, I think, whoops, wait a minute.
That's the new deck.
It's just, it is, it's a new deck. Who won?
I won.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, how much did you win?
I don't know. $320, and it's already the check is already gone to Fuller International in his name.
You donated
He donated
that?
it all to the
Oh,
oil.
I hope you all heard that. The winner of the big Queen of Hearts drawing was Bill Payne. What'd you win?
That's big.
Okay, and won $320, and he donated the money back to polio clubs. So thank you very much. Round of applause. All right. Okay, so he, Queen of Hearts.
You still have, the good news guy.
Four. All right, sorry, 4 of diamonds. You may tear it up. Oh, see, you won something. All right.
I don't know how much money we got yet today, but Pete already told me he's gonna donate it back. So,
Oh,
we'll see.
really? That's fair enough. All right, round of applause for Pete. Thank you very much. We're gonna have a good total for polio plus this year. I think that brings us to our speakers. Is there anything I've overlooked? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I turn the floor over to Andy. Did I get it done? Done.
That's my fault, man.
Yeah, that's all right.
Done. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. How y'all doing today? All right, I like history. That's how I ended up at the museum before we even get going. I remember when this building was the bullpen. And this wing right here where the bar is was actually, Slim Sherman brought his dogs in here. He raised bird dogs, and that was for the dogs, and the rest was the bar. He actually pitched for the Dodgers in the World Series. Lived down here as local. I remember my dad telling me the story in town that when they actually put him in the World Series, everybody opened up the door that was watching the game and hollered. They put him in, and you just ran into the closest house to watch him pitch in the World Series. All the kids that were playing in town got to watch Slim Turner pitch. Of course, after him, it was Yucks for a while, so he called it someplace else. It was Robinson and here. Every time I look at something, I like to look at the history of it. And that's how I ended up being the president of the Cape Charles Museum, I guess, so to speak, because I barely got out of high school. I wasn't a good student. Was in the top 13 in my class.
You have to be in front of it.
All right, in front of here, okay. Was in the top 13 in my class at Cape Charles, but it was just 13 of us in the class. All right, I was born and raised in Cape Charles. My family's roots go back to the very first census here on the Eastern Shore, and it's been somebody in the census on the Eastern Shore ever since. I'm the director and the president of the Cape Charles Museum and Historical Society, newly elected just this past January. I use the term elected very liberally. I was the only one that was up for it. I've got a lot of big shoes to fill in order to keep it going. The only thing you're going to see me changing is I'm trying to get the image of the museum out to the public. That way people stop riding in and out of Cape Charles not really knowing when that building's there, and everybody is absolutely welcome to come in. The Historical Society was founded in Cape Charles in 1986. 10 years later is when we acquired the building from DP&L, which was Delmarva Power and Electric. That building was a peaker plant. When Cape Charles needed additional electricity, there's 2 big generators in that building that provided that electricity. Compared to many places on the lower Eastern Shore, Cape Charles is a fairly new place. You know, let's see here, June of 1883, I saw this figure the other day. If you bought property around here within the past 10 or 15 years, you'll appreciate it. William Scott purchased 2,650 acres from the heirs of former Governor Littleton Caswell. If you live in Bay Creek, we're talking mainly in the property, going through Cape Charles all the way where the Worcester Farm is. 2,650 acres for $55,000. Some of y'all can't even get your house painted for that, right? All right, the railroad arrived in 1884, and by March 1st, 1886, the town of Cape Charles was established and incorporated. But while the town itself is young and our history runs much deeper, one of our most fascinating stories is the Chesapeake Bay Impact Crater. Got a nice display. It was formed about 35 million years ago, with its epicenter right at the present day Cape Charles. The largest impact crater in the United States. Cape Charles quickly became a railroad town and a major transportation hub for many years. If you wanted to get to anywhere else in Virginia, you had to come through Cape Charles. We had the ferries, the railroad. The ferry service eventually moved away. The town was returned into decline. It's kind of like when I was coming along. The mid-'80s probably was its lowest point. There were buildings boarded up, houses falling down. It looked pretty bleak. But around the early 90s, you started seeing bed and breakfasts in these towns. When I say you could literally give away a home, my great-grandfather probably had somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 rental properties in town. I was in the Marine Corps, and Dad called me, and I just paid taxes on my Bronco. $200. He said, "What house do you want?" Dang, I don't want a house. I just pay taxes on my Bronco. So I turned away free house in Cape Charles. So, yeah. My wife, to this day, still hits me in the back of the head. I don't even know her when that happened. All right. Well, those bed breakfasts started to appear. People started coming to Cape Charles. Hey, this is a pretty neat place. We knew it all along, but other people that wanted to do something started seeing it. So you started seeing houses getting fixed up. You know, I remember as a kid saying for years, this is a beach town, but nobody looked at us as a beach town. And then all of a sudden, you had this white Lincoln Navigator riding through town. You remember that white Lincoln Navigator? You know what I'm talking about. And Big Creek started going up. Oyster Farm, we had a big marina going up. And things really started changing. I mean, some people say not for the better. You know, personally, I'd much rather see a home in its prime, you know, looking the best that it can, than I would with plywood on the windows. Everybody's got their opinion. Yeah, I miss the old Cape Charles, but I think that perception. I remember I was looking at the Cape. We've got a Cape Charles book, History of Cape Charles, and my great grandfather they were talking to him, and he remembered the heyday of Cape Charles, and they interviewed him in the mid-'80s. He talked about how he missed all the people walking up and down the sidewalk, all the temporary visitors that were coming through. And now you hear people that remember the old days, that what I call the old days, when it wasn't anybody here, and they say, yeah, that's that. So, I just try to live and hoping that the day is the day that you want to remember. You live like the day is the best day. Our museum's 100% volunteer. We don't have any paid employees. We just rely on the generosity of the public. And getting to that, Friday night for family and friends, anybody knew Betty Hall, I started a display, basically in honor of Betty. For those that didn't know her, she kind of had the nickname of Queen of Cape Charles. She was my substitute teacher, so she put up with a lot. In 1973, at a time where you didn't see many women fishing, she caught the world record black drum. 111 pounds. Big fish. Betty, I think, weighed somewhere in the 90s at the time when she caught it. Before she even got it to the boat, she killed it. I watched my mom do that one day. The tide was running so hard, and you can actually drown a fish. And the fish drowned before she got it to the top. But anyway, it was a world record, recognized all over the world for it. A couple of years later, there was a fish caught in the Delaware Bay that beat her by a couple pounds. So she no longer has the world record. She does still have the 80-pound class world record. She still has the all-woman record for the heaviest fish. And, of course, she's got Virginia's record for the biggest fish. But if you knew Betty and she was a character, the only thing I regret is I wish I did this 3 or 4 years ago while she was still alive. You look back, you want to recognize people. It's just one of those things. But anyway, also this weekend, Saturday, we have a fish fry. Black drum. So, it's Mother's Day weekend just always happened to be the biggest weekend for black drum on the Eastern Shore. When the fish were running, when the gnats were biting, it was the time of the fish, and it just happened to be Mother's Day weekend. That's one of the reasons why we chose this weekend, not only for her display, but for the fish fry as well. So if anybody's interested in a fish fry ticket, get up with me. We've got them online, and if you're not sure, my My daughter's store in Cape Charles, Mint Honey has tickets, and Rayfield's Pharmacy has tickets. And do we have any questions about the museum, about the history of Cape Charles, or anything like that? On one of the leaks? Yes, sir.
Those generators in the museum,
Yeah.
they still run?
I can get them. We've got one in there still, and it'll run, just not to full capacity. It'll run fast enough at real low RPM, so you can actually see the pistons and everything go up inside there. Yes, sir. Yes.
What's gonna happen to all the trains, the train cars that are?
The train cars, we're slowly getting fixed up. It's just, unfortunately, it costs an awful amount of money to do that. I'm looking at trying to do storage in some. We're getting HVAC system put into the pilot house, which if you drive by there, it's on the west side of the museum. That's going to be, I'm going to use that to store our archives. And the Bloxham building where our archives is now, I want to eventually get that to where that almost looks like a welcome center. Coming into Cape Charles, where we are, is the perfect spot, I think, to welcome people into Cape Charles. Looking at getting a new sign in front of that with information on the incoming side, telling people what's going on in Cape Charles, so then on their exit, there's something on the backside, so they know something that's going on in the county. So the town and the county both will benefit from it.
I got another question.
Oh, by all means.
What happened to all that stuff, the country store that Charlie?
The country store, we're slowly going to be selling off. Most of it has nothing to do with Cape Charles. It's the neatest stuff in the world, but we have to house it somewhere, and it's been in boxes ever since they bought it. We're getting ready to open up a booth at Blue Crow Antique Hall. If it's something that has absolutely nothing to do with the Eastern Shore of Cape Charles, we're going to put it up for sale. You'll raise money and kind of get some of our money back from purchasing. All that was purchased from Margaret and Charlie Goff. Yes, ma'am.
What are your hours that you're open?
When we do open, it's going to be 10 to 4. We're looking to open this weekend. Saturday will be opening day. But look for me, I don't know, on Facebook, or write my phone number down. I will open the museum up for anybody that wants to go in there, as long as I'm available.
We went in there once and it's fascinating. I have to go back again because there's so much to read, so much history.
Oh, it is. It is. It's some really neat stuff for just a short period of time. You know, I like to think that 1886 wasn't too terribly long ago. I graduated in 86. When I graduated high school, the town was only 100 years old, and really, when you think about all the other stuff, 100 years isn't that long. Yes, sir.
That coal tipple that is just to the east of your building, from the old railroad days, were those generators that you were talking about, were they coal fired, and is that what that siding was for, to feed coal to those generators?
That was to unload coal, yes, but our generators were oil fired. Matter of fact, Augustus Bush was one of the owners of the plant that actually built those. The same Bush that started Anheuser-Busch.
And one other comment.
Uh-huh.
Between 1973 and 76, I worked out of Salisbury with the Penn Central Railroad. I took care of the radio up and down the peninsula from Clayton, Delaware, all the way to here and across the bay to Norfolk, where the barges took railroad cars back and forth. And I took care of the tugboat radios and the navigation system. When I first came to Cape Charles, I'd get down here about half a dozen times a year because there was a base station right there at the yard office. I used to think, you're right, the town was pretty nasty back then. But I always thought that somebody with a little bit of money, it's a good idea to make this a beautiful place. And in 2000, right around 2000, I saw a thing in the Baltimore Sun about the plans to build Bay Creek. And I was starting to get within thinking range of retirement. Where do I want to retire? And I came down here just to visit, to see what's going on. And boy, the change just almost floored me. It was beautiful. You know, this is the place I'm retiring from.
Oh, well, glad you did. Bay Creek, I still every now and then you'll catch me, call it Hollywood Farm. When I was in high school, before I drove, which I drove before I was supposed to drive, but that's just neither here and there. That's a whole other story. But I enjoyed duck hunting more than anything. My daddy got in trouble duck hunting. He didn't want me duck hunting, so I used to sneak duck hunting. But he allowed me to deer hunt. So deer hunting, before having a driver's license, I would get on my bicycle. I dated the farmer's daughter that was running Hollywood Farms at the time, and would ride my bicycle with a shotgun on my back over the hump, over to Hollywood Farms and go deer hunting. Now, when we duck hunted in Cape Charles, if you could picture 12 teenage kids walking through Cape Charles with shotguns on their shoulder, going to the point behind the oyster farm. All right, now a diving duck won't typically fly over land. They'll follow water out, and that's like the narrowest mouth of a creek anywhere is the mouth of Kings Creek. So anything that flew out of that creek was within range. But I can imagine 12 kids walk through Cape Charles now with shotguns on their shoulders, SWAT helicopters and jump in. But it was and everybody probably experiences this. It was the neatest place in the world to grow up, but I didn't know it when I was growing up. You know, yeah, I couldn't wait to get away from here.
Can you, describe Hollywood Farms, like how big were the racetrack?
It was huge. I don't remember the racetrack so much. I do have some aerial pictures, and we have had not pictures, but maps of where the racetrack is located. I remember Alley Good Pond real well. It was a pond in there, like all ponds that we had over here. We never really had any natural ponds. There was a program years ago where you could dam off the head of creeks. And once you dam these creeks up, the water would eventually turn fresh, and that's how farmers ended up watering their crops. You know, so shoot some ducks in Alley Good Pond as well. But there was a couple houses. You get in that real sharp turn there. And there was a house right straight across here. I remember that house sitting, it was in a very open area. In the place where the coach house was, and when I'm talking about the original coach house, the Haswell house, whatever you want to call it, I can remember getting real bored. You know, if I sit still long enough, I just go crazy. I'm waiting on deer, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm done. You know, I remember going in the house and sitting up in the attic. Wish I took pictures, but envelopes. Mail, the guy that lived there one time was a lawyer, and the familiar names, last names, that I could just sit there and read through, you know, like 1980, 81, but this was probably, I'm going through stuff that's probably from the 40s and 50s. That big horse collar that was right in the coach house itself, and I remember, you know, asking Mr. Goff, and I said, you want it? I'll take that, you know, I think I left that in one of the houses I rented in Cape Charles, and I'm sure the coach house would like to have that now, but it was really neat. You had fields here and there, trees. My favorite view of it is looking at the picture. The Hollywood Farms was the largest trucking farm on the East Coast at one time. It's when Mr. Scott owned it. You had orchards out there. You had different crops set up different places. He was big in the railroad, so, you know, everything that he grew, he could get rid of. Had no problem getting rid of. But, yes, ma'am.
What kind of a racetrack was it?
Horses.
Horses?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. How you doing, Mr. Gowan? I went to school with Mr. Gowan's kid.
With regard to that, it came to a point that we had to decide who was going to be on the school board. So we argued back and forth. Just wanted to see someone, you know, I became what openly. I had to come to the school board, become the school board member. He didn't really want it, I didn't really want it, but somebody had to represent Cape Charles. So she probably remembers, of course, it's called me to be on the school board. And with regard to Hollywood Farm, I hunted over there. And I guess you know Johnny Crump.
Oh, yes. No, it real well.
Only had one person, one policeman, I guess you call him policeman.
Yeah, he's a gang warden.
Gang warden. Well, he worked on our family one day, and then he worked back to back next day. So, we all knew where Johnny Crump was. And I remember I was hunting with another fellow. I said, you know, I don't believe I got my license. He said, don't worry, because he, the season hadn't come in yet. And then we were all the way. And, I said, well, we out of season. We can't hunt. He said, the season is in the pot. So we just you'll see birds, you'll see rabbits, everything. But yeah, Hollywood Farm it's a lot to remember.
It is. It really is. And so is Johnny Crumb. Johnny Crumb was so honest. He was chasing a guy one day and hit a Coast Guard dayboard, tore a state boat up and all that. And he didn't just do the paperwork that he had destroyed property. He wrote himself a ticket. The judge dismissed it, but he wrote himself a ticket. But that's how honest he is. And one more story. I retired from the state. I worked for the Marine Corps. And when Johnny retired from the game department, he took over as the harbor master at Oyster. He would go. He's the only one I've ever seen would go down there every single day and would clean that boat ramp. Paid him $25 to $35 a month. I can't remember which. And he picked up cans while he was doing it. And we turned the cans in. At the time, you could take cans over here to Wendell's Distributing, get your money for recycling. He would get more money back than what the state was paying him, but he would turn the money into the state. Oh. That's how honest Johnny Crumb is. But an awesome guy. I know a lot of people he'd written tickets to, and if Johnny got you, he got you. Yeah, he wasn't going to do you wrong. All right, got anything else?
Before you go.
Yes, sir.
You didn't make it very clear
Okay.
that you actually have tickets on you.
I do.
Saturday.
I do have tickets on me.
So I would like some of my fellow Rotarians to join me. I bought the first ticket for Mandy, and I'd like you all to buy some more tickets.
My daughter designed these tickets, so even if you don't go to get your fish, the ticket is beautiful. It's almost worth the $20 purchase price. It's not, no, it's Saturday. Yes. So the mothers will be able to eat the night before Mother's Day, worry free. But if you don't get them from me now, they are available at Rayfield's, Minton Honey, and online.
Stick around, I see the money coming out.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Good job. All right, it is time. Will everyone please stand for the four-way test of the things we can say or do. First,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it true?
third, fourth,
Will it be beneficial?
and fifth,
Will we have fun?
thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Bingo.